So it is 1 o'clock. So welcome to BBB's 20-minute power chat with an expert. This is a monthly series where we focus on topics that are timely, that can further support your business and also your personal development skills as a business leader. Our speakers will present for 20 minutes, and then we will have 5 minutes at the end to answer any questions that you may have. So feel free to post any questions as the presentation goes along. And really, this presentation is part 3 of a series that we've had over the summer. So we've been focusing on a Take Back Your Summer webinar series to really help us build resilience and prepare for the fall season. And our guest speaker has been Allison Graham, who is a resilience expert, a keynote speaker, and also an author. In part 1, we learned how to leverage good stress for optimal performance. We learned how to develop new skills to impact our daily activities, both at work and at home. Then part 2, we discussed how to emotionally detach from our to-do list, which all of us struggle with, and also how to find a sense of control when we have a lot to do. So today's session, we're going to be elaborating a little bit further on some of the tips and skills that Allison has. We're talking a little bit about problem-solving framework and how to invest today to prepare for a really successful fall. So all these recordings can be viewed on the BBB Western Ontario YouTube channel, and we'll also share them on social media, so you can take a look and just click through there to get the videos directly. And without further ado, I'm going to let Allison take the floor.
Awesome. I am so excited to be back here. This has been fun getting to do this with you every month. And I hope that the people who are seeing this one, if they didn't see the first 2 sessions, then that they will go back and see those. So you said you can get them on the Facebook channel and also the YouTube channel, right? Should be great.
Yes.
So
absolutely.
I'm going to encourage everybody to go look at those, because the content we're going to cover today is very much going to build on what we've already discovered. Now, you may remember back to our very first session, if you were here, where I talked about the ice cube that became the snowman. And again, if you don't know what that means, you're going to have to go back and check it out. And then we talked about in the second one, really that leveraging the stress and the difference between tasks, obstacles, and adversity, and how we can actually eliminate the destructive stress by understanding the different types of challenges and things that may be causing us stress, but in actual fact, it's just our reaction. And so tasks, as a quick reminder, tasks we need to do, and they don't require a lot of emotion around them or fanfare or anything like that. We just want to do the task as effectively and efficiently as possible. And the obstacles, we want to solve them as quickly as we can without the extra emotion. So we want to just look at them as objectively as possible to keep moving forward on our path. Whereas adversity, we really want to free up our time by doing our tasks and our obstacles so effectively so that we can actually process and heal from the adversities. Now, that framework is really what is going to allow us to step into this next piece of the puzzle and give you a sense of taking back not just your summer, because summer is coming to a close faster than we like. It feels like all of a sudden it just sped up. I don't know if anybody else is feeling that way, but I want you to take back your time for the entire year and moving forward. My hope is that you can use the end of this summer to put some systems in place and some thinking in place so that the fall you have a system that works for you, that allows you not to go into the destructive stress piece. Because for me, it's not like, I know my book is called Take Back Your Weekends. And it's not about never working on the weekend or late night, work when you want to work. To me, it's about having a choice. It's about when you do work that your outputs per hour are significant, that you are in a highly focused, highly effective state of flow when you're working, so that you can get more done in a shorter period of time, so that there's that time left over for the things that matter the most in your life. All right, so that is just kind of giving you that whole recap. And now we're going to move into two key concepts that I want to share with you today. The first is, actually, which one should we do first? I think we'll do the problem solving framework first. And we'll do that because then that will lead us into the task circle, which we didn't end up covering last time, but it's so critically important. Now, as I've said, we need to find a way to solve our obstacles as quickly and effectively as we can. And so often when we are facing a challenge, our first instinct is to go to solution first thinking. And I'm going to challenge you that solution first thinking actually will not always lead to the best solutions, which sounds counterintuitive because, of course, we think, okay, I've got a problem. I need to find a solution. And I'm going to use a diet as an example. So you've probably known somebody who's been on a diet, or you yourself have tried to go on a diet, and sometimes they work and sometimes they don't. I know it's been something I've done over my lifetime, so I have experience with. So zero judgment here. But a lot of times it's like, okay, I want to lose weight or I want to get healthy. And so I'm going to go on keto or a low carb diet or some flavor of the month. Okay. Or I'm going to start drinking celery juice. And that would be a solution. So problem, direct to solution. First couple days, you're a rock star. Bring on that celery juice. Yum, yum. By day 4 or 5, you're like on the couch eating nachos, watching a Netflix marathon. Who's with me? Right? And so this is the issue, because the solution without these 2 steps before it that I'm going to share with you doesn't always lead to the solutions that will stick. And so when it comes to our time management, before you go, okay, I want to, run my tasks this way. I'm going to do this organizational system, or I'm going to use this technology that's going to help me get all my stuff done faster. That's not the answer. If you want to buy back days of your life, if you want to buy back emotional freedom from your overwhelming workload, then what we really need to do is not find another task management system. Although later I'm going to share with you one that I find is absolutely the best, if it works for you. But we need to design and figure out the 2 pieces of the puzzle first that are situational awareness and self-awareness. And when we explore situational awareness and self-awareness before we choose our solution, we will create better solutions. Situational awareness is essentially getting to the heart of the real issue. And the first 2 pieces of the puzzle with our sessions, where we talked about the ice cubes that became the snowman, that's one way to get to the bottom of the real issue. And when we talked about the difference between tasks, obstacles, and adversities, that was another way to analyze the situation. The other piece that we covered that is so critical to be aware of is what is within your control versus out of your control as it relates to the situation and the problem that you're trying to solve. So right now, if you are looking at having an overloaded task list, there's just a lot of different obstacles coming at you. We want to get super, super clear about this. In fact, I was coaching with a client a couple of weeks ago, and she said, we just started our coaching relationship. And she's like, you know what? I'm so overwhelmed. I'm so stressed. And she was in tears. And I just, like so many people can get in, with workload, it just never ends. Right. And she's like, I'm like, well, what needs to get done? And she goes, I don't know. She says, all up in my head. And I'm like, okay, well, that's a problem. Because if we aren't looking at a situation for exactly what it is, for exactly the reality of the situation, our brain is going to get so into the mood of creating negative storylines and putting some emotion around it and adding, procrastination because we can't see it in black and white. And so in order to create a system that is going to buy back your time so that you can do your work in a highly efficient, effective manner, so that you have the free time left over to focus on what matters most in your life and do the things that you love outside of work and have that rest and recharge, then we got to get super clear on what is happening in your life. And with that client, what I did, I said, well, what we're going to do this thing is we're going to get it all out on paper, everything that needs to get done, every volunteer commitment, every, business client who needs something or is waiting on something. And we did. And then we were able to add up, so start estimating how much time would each of these tasks take me. And ultimately, she ended up with 11 hours of backlogged work that she needed to get caught up on. I've had other clients who have 18 hours of backlog work, some clients 3 hours, right? But if it's just rolling around in our head, it's going to take a more emotional capacity. So that's why I say situational awareness is absolutely critical, getting super clear on the real issue, what's within your control, and are they tasks, obstacles, or adversities, meaning tasks you do, obstacles you solve, and adversities we need to heal from. Okay. If we think about it in the diet sense, this is where you would want to get really clear on, okay, what do I need to lose? Why do I need to lose it? What am I currently eating? Is there anything that is a trigger that is something, or do I have a habit? Like actually looking, what have I tried in the past? Like getting so crystal clear on the situation so that we can discover the right solution for you. And this next piece of the problem solving framework is absolutely critical. And it's the space that I love to play in because I know how incredibly powerful it can be. And that is the space of self-awareness. Now, the challenge with self-awareness is that it can very, very easily cross over into self-judgment. And when we start judging ourselves, it's generally from a harsh perspective, which makes everything else harder to deal with because then we're putting this negative storyline on top of what we've already got to deal with, which is just that ice cube that we need to melt. And so the self-awareness exploration is really asking yourself, how am I responding to this situation? And how am I potentially making it harder to deal with? So if the issue for you is you want to take back your time, take back your summers, get more free time and be less emotionally tied to everything you need to get done, then some of the self-awareness questions I might challenge you with are things like, am I addicted to being busy? Does it make me feel empowered or important because I have so much to do and I'm always, telling everybody how busy I am? Am I uncomfortable taking downtime because I feel like I'm not valuable because I'm not doing something? When in actual fact, you deserve the rest, right? Like, I mean, we need the rest and the intense work. So these are the sorts of self-awareness questions, like really sinking into how you're managing your time. How am I feeling about it? Like, and I know this because I've had these conversations with people where there are people who, and no judgment at all, again, but like when I ask them, like, are you addicted to being busy? Like, and they'll usually say, well, yeah, because when I was younger, I wasn't allowed to take a break. I always had to be doing something. Or when I, worked for my job, if we weren't like actively looking like we were doing something, or we weren't staying till 10 o'clock at night, then the interpretation was that you were lazy and goofing off and didn't care about your job. when in actual fact, most people were just sitting there late at night pretending to do something and playing, Scrabble or something on their computer. Okay, so that thinking, but if you can imagine, and I know this is a power session, so the whole concept is I give you lots of concepts and you just go and deal with it, or take it and use it for yourself, right? But getting clear on the situation, exploring the self-awareness, and then going to solution activation. So go back to the diet example. We've done the situational awareness, then we do self-awareness. Am I emotionally eating? Am I addicted to food? Am I having an allergic reaction to something? What are my portion sizes? What way am I eating? Like all of those questions are so critical, because then you might find out that you don't need a new diet. You just need to eat smaller portions, right? Like we don't know. But the solution is always different depending on the answers to the first two pieces of this puzzle. So at the end, we're going to have time for questions. I'd love to explore something with you. If this resonates in any way, please let me know. I do have my email on the screen, so you can definitely send me a note. I'd love to hear from you directly as well. What sort of challenge are you trying to solve, and how can you apply this problem-solving framework? Because it's a universal system that I use for all of my clients and for myself to solve any obstacle related to personal and professional development. Okay, so that is the problem-solving framework. Now, we're going to go into the task circle. And again, I know this is fast because it's a power session. By the way, it's all in my book, Take Back Your Weekends, Stress Less, Do More, and Be Happier, which you could win a copy of today. And we'll do that at the end. That'd be great. So the task circle. I remember I was meeting with a client and she was really upset. She's like, you know what? I just can't get caught up. And it doesn't matter what system I use, I can't get caught up. And I was like, yeah, exactly. That's the point. You are never going to get caught up. It doesn't exist. Getting caught up, because here's the thing. If you actually had nothing left to do, you would be out of work. You'd be out of a job, out of business. You would be bored out of your mind. And so when we use a traditional to-do list, which is long, right? You put everything you need to get done, and check it off as you go along. That is so ineffective for so many reasons. It's great for like the quick hits, right? Like, if you're like me, I love checking things off of the list, but it doesn't account for area of responsibility, doesn't account for priority, doesn't account for how long it's going to take you to do each task. We need to have a better system. And what happens with a traditional list is it insinuates that one day it's going to end. And it won't. It's not going to end. So I call it a task circle to kind of release the brain a bit from this idea that we're going to reach this elusive end goal, which never really truly exists. So it's a task circle. So here are a few key concepts. Number one, I'm going to encourage you to take that long list. So do the big brain dump, everything that you need to get done, and look at it and find the themes. Find the themes of your areas of responsibility. So if you're in business and you have to do sales and marketing and administration and HR and, and we want to find the 5 to 6 or 7, maybe, hats that you wear. And the concept of the task circle is we take that long list and we split it into different areas of responsibility. If you were to put on a hat, you can only wear one at a time. You can't wear 6 hats at a time. And a lot of our productivity is stolen from our day-to-day because we're trying to wear multiple hats at once. We're reactive to whatever's coming at us, right? Different points in time. And we're switching between, oh, I got to deal with this client issue, and oh, I've got to do that sales call. Oh, and I got to do a LinkedIn post. Instead of saying, in this block of time, this 45-minute stretch, I am only going to wear, and then we'll pull this hat. I'm only going to put on my marketing hat, and I'm going to do my LinkedIn post, and I'm going to do everything related to marketing. And then in this next block of time, I'm only going to wear my client hat. And I'm just going to focus 100% on my client at that moment. And when we do that, it is so powerful. I have seen this system transform people's productivity like you wouldn't believe. Because the concept of the task circle is that 45 minutes of absolutely focused, engaged effort that we talked about in our very first session when I talked about harnessing good stress. That 45 minutes is significantly more powerful and impactful in your overall outputs per hour than if you had 3 hours or 4 hours of half engaged, half focused work. Right? Where you're getting interrupted, where you're spending, a time checking email and getting dings for this and dings for that, and the phone call comes in here. But if we eliminate all of that and we go and focus right in on what hat are we supposed to wear, what area of responsibility within my task circle am I going to focus on right now, then our outputs per hour will skyrocket. And you will have time left over at the end of the day to go do the things you want to do and take back your summer. So that was 20 minutes. We did it. I would love to bring, Monica, should we come back on and we'll start taking some Q&A if we've got some. I know there's some stuff coming in.
Yeah, we do have a couple things that have come in, and I see also that one of our attendees has already bought a copy of your book, and so she wants to pay it forward. Aww. And so that somebody else can also make sure that they can win the book and enjoy their own personal copy. So I was hoping I was hoping that we could talk a little bit about the task circle part. So it's, a great idea about the different hats, but a question that came in was, okay, so if there's never an end to it, like how do you decide where you sort of pause and take a break and not feel overwhelmed? Because you also don't want to be looping, right? We don't want to get to the end of the list, but then we also don't want to be squirrely and sort of just spinning on it as well. Right.
So the way I do this is when I get a task circle, I can probably show you one of mine, except it'll be really messy, is that we want to look, so let's say there are 8 things within a program. Okay, so 8 different, this area of responsibility, whatever it is. So maybe your administration, you have 8 things that need to get done. So when we go through there, the first thing I want you to do is look at estimate how long should it take me to do. So is it 5 minute, 10 minute, 25 minute, an hour and a half, 2 hours? And the truth is our work is really made up of 15 to 20 minute, 25 minute tasks, different chunks, right? So if it's an hour and a half, then there are probably 5 or 6 different things that you do within that hour and a half. Even like, for example, if I wrote an article, it would be write the intro paragraph, map it out, find my sources, like you could really break it down. So that's the first thing we want to do. Then what we want to do is look and say, okay, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, in the order of importance that you're going to get them done. And so we can look at that. That would be based on deadline. That would be based on potentially urgency or level of importance. Now, some people like to do the really fast hits. So if there are some things on a part of that area of responsibility that are, say, 5 minutes, you would want to get those done really quickly because you can just like get 3 or 4 things off the list right away. So the way I do it is once you start using the system and saying A, B, C, D, E, generally by the time I get to D within a day on an area of responsibility, those are the priorities for the day. And when there's always a priority, like there are too many priorities with too many priorities that are too many deadlines and we're really backed up. At the end of the day, you have to just say, okay, I'm going to spend this much time. I'm going to be totally focused and hone in on get as much done as I can. And then at the end of your energy cycle, so let's say, you've worked a full 5 hours and it's like, you cannot do anything else. Like your brain is mush, right? Then the emotional detachment happens there. It will stay for the next day. And so this is the emotional discipline that really comes into play. So Monica, does that sort of help? It's like, it is just always there. And you got to make educated, not guesses, but educated decisions on what order am I going to put them in, and then be comfortable that you're doing the right activities.
Yeah, absolutely. And it really, I think, goes to, speak to your point about all of these pieces of information and tactics that you've shared with us over the last 3 months, how they really work in tandem, right? So yes, you can, basically just focus on a task circle if that's what you wanted to do, but then the emotional piece comes in, or the prioritizing comes in, and just being able, like the problem solving. So all of it comes together sort of as a system that can easily work to help us detangle from all of these responsibilities that all of us have.
That's right. Well, and that it's like this whole system of self-awareness and solution, the solution piece is the easy piece. And I know people are like, what, really? No, because I feel overwhelmed by all this stuff. And I'm like, well, yeah, but the stuff is just the stuff. It's your reaction to the stuff that is what drains us, which makes us feel like we're not good enough, or we're not accomplishing enough in the day-to-day.
Yeah, and that really reminds me about, part one, when you spoke about how to leverage good stress for performance, right? And so again, it goes back to us understanding: are we adding more to the situation in our heads and what the situation really is? And then goes back to that, ice cube piece. So yes, these are like really great tips. I do encourage everyone to go and take a listen to part one and part two, because it is, as you can see, holistic. So that may be really able to help with some of these skills and integrating them on a day-to-day basis. As you said, we are going to be announcing the winner of a book today. So we'll be posting that on social media and reaching out to the winner by email. And looking at the time, I do want to thank you, Allison, for the time that you spent with us over the summer. This has been really great. I think we all know that, the fall is always a busy season for everyone. And so I'm hoping that people can still be enjoying the rest of their summer, but then use the little bit of time that we have to develop some of these skills to be effective in the few months to come. As we shared earlier, this is available on YouTube. Please reach out to Allison via email, and stay tuned, because this is something that we do every month. And so, we'll be having other webinars to be able to help build our leadership skills, as well as also help your business grow over the next seasons. I'm seeing a couple of people mention that they missed the first 2 sessions. Yes, if you just do a Google search for BBB Western Ontario YouTube channel, they're already posted up there. And we will also reshare it as well in our social media accounts. If you look on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, we'll also repost the links to that as well. So thanks everyone for attending. We hope that we'll be able to see you next month, and enjoy the rest of the summer season. Bye, everyone.